My friends, is a professional grade harmonica. This is a Hohner Special 20. Here's another professional grade harmonica, a Hohner Golden Melody. Both of those were in the key of C. Now, when you're talking about cheap versus pro-grade harmonicas, what is the difference? So I'm going to take two very similar looking harmonicas, which is, this Hohner Hot Metal. You know what? I'll go with the standard blues band. This is a Hohner blues band harmonica. It's a cheap harmonica. The first harmonica I ever played in my entire life was a blues band, key of C. This is a Hohner Special 20, key of C. You heard me play this at the beginning. I'm going to play roughly the same thing on each one, and you tell me if you hear a difference. Here's the cheap one. Can you hear a difference? Now, the room ambiance in here is going to be terrible. I'm in a square room with a door closed, and I'm using my iPhone 12 microphone, so bear with me on the sound. But can you hear a difference? Let me get up close. This is the cheap part. So if you heard something a little bit raspy, a little airy, that's because the cheaper harmonica is doing something that is essentially leaking air. So when you are looking at the internals of a harmonica, you have a reed plate that has holes cut into it, and then reeds that vibrate in and out of those holes. So if you've got a hole that is that big and a reed that's that big, guess what? You've got air moving in and around it. And if they tighten that reed plate up around the reed, then it can move in inside the reed better. So what you'll notice in the cheaper harmonicas is that gap is actually worse in the cheaper ones than it is the more expensive ones, leading the air to, well, go all over the place, making it sound a little more airy. So when you try to play with more volume, or you try to play something a little more complicated, getting those bends or those overblows, you're not going to be able to do that on the cheaper harmonicas. So this blues band, a cheap harmonica, just like this hot metal, while I can play on them, I'm exerting a lot more force to get that amount of volume as I do out of this Special 20. And when I blow and draw into the harmonica, I don't feel that air leak. So for those of you that are newer to the harmonica playing game, trust me, when you pick up a blues band and a Special 20, they look the same because they're basically designed exactly the same. They're going to feel the same, but they do not play the same. And you may not be able to tell if you're a beginner because, your sound is going to be a little more airy anyways until you get certain basics down pat. You've gotten a few hours of practice underneath you. So these harmonicas, while they're made by Hohner, these are definitely their Chinese-made one. Now, the harmonicas I played at the beginning, the Golden Melody, and the Hohner Special 20, these are German-made harmonicas. Now, when I was a kid, pretty much every single Chinese-made harmonica was terrible. However, a few years ago, some newer production practices came into the game in Chinese harmonicas, like this East Hop right here. This is about the same price as this. However, both of these are in the key of C. There's a huge difference. I'm exerting the same force, but the volume and the response and the air tightness in this East Hop is way better than the cheaper Hohner-made harmonicas. So much so that this is close to being on par with this, the German-made harmonica. So are all Chinese harmonicas terrible? No. Are all cheap harmonicas terrible? Definitely not. But what you need to realize is that not every harmonica that is cheaper is going to be good. And I don't recommend going out and playing super cheap harmonicas, even if someone is a beginner, because they're going to take that harmonica and they're going to start playing it and they're going to be confused off the bat. If they get to a place where they're ready to start something a little more complicated, or they find themselves constantly out of breath because they're exerting more air going through the harmonica trying to get the volume that they want, and they can't do what they need to do as well as they can on more expensive harmonicas. So if you're looking at cheap harmonicas, definitely spend a few more bucks and get something that's pro quality, like a German-made Hohner Special 20, or something like the, where is it? I had a Marine band over here. The German-made Marine band. That's a key of G. Great harmonicas. And they have even more expensive harmonicas that, are even better and play really, really well. Long story short, if you're talking cheap harmonicas, don't get a bottom of the barrel harmonica, even if someone's a beginner, because they're gonna get discouraged on that harmonica. And if they want to progress, they're gonna have to upgrade eventually. And if they would have potentially wanted to progress, but they think to themselves, oh, you know what, I'm playing this harmonica and it sounds a little bit weird and I'm out of breath when I play it, obviously the harmonica isn't for me. That is terrible. I've taught countless students over the years. Tons and tons of times they show up with cheap harmonicas. I was like, hey guys, let's upgrade to something that's better so that you don't get discouraged and so you can play the cool riffs you want to hear. Because long story short, the harmonica is an awesome instrument. You can take it with you wherever you go, and people that pick up the harmonica and practice regularly can find themselves exponentially better at the harmonica in just a few short months. I've seen it time and time again on the harmonica. And that's not just a me story. That is a story you'll hear from harmonica teachers all over the place. The harmonica is easy to pick up on if you practice regularly and keep it with you. So, cheap harmonica versus more expensive harmonica. Here's a cheap one. Here's an expensive one. The tone is different, the sound is different, the feel is different, the response is different. Get yourself something nice. That's my take on cheap versus expensive harmonicas. Thanks for watching. You want some more instruction? Follow me on Facebook at Jake Knows Harmonica. You want some online lessons? We can definitely hook up and we'll go and take your harmonica journey further than you are now. Thanks for watching. And in the meantime, keep harping.